Does your skin burn without being touched? Do you get sudden electric shocks that shoot down your legs or arms? This isn't just aching, this feels like damage, and it scares us because we wonder, is this just my fibromyalgia acting up, or is it something actually wrong with my nerves? In this video, I want to help you to tell the difference. We're going to look at the nerve type pain calmly and honestly, so you know when it's just noise from a sensitive system or a red flag that you need to get checked. This builds on my last video about general pain sensitivity, but today we're going to go deeper into the specific scary sensations, the burning, the stinging, and the shocks. So first, let's be really clear about what we mean by nerve type pain. This isn't the general aching or heaviness that many of us live with most of the time. Nerve type pain often feels like burning, tingling, like pins and needles. It can feel sharp or electric or like sudden shocks. It can stop you mid-movement, it can make you react out loud, and it can be unsettling because it feels very different from our usual pain. Now, here's an important point, and this is where I want to keep things real. Not all nerve type pain in fibromyalgia comes from the same place. Yes, fibromyalgia affects how we experience pain, but having fibromyalgia doesn't mean that everything is caused by the nervous system alone. People with fibro can also experience nerve type pain for other reasons. For example, we can get peripheral nerve irritation or compression. This means a nerve is being irritated or pressed on somewhere, like sciatica, and it can often be due to posture, sitting, standing, or staying in one place or one position for too long. It can come from reduced movement over time. When we don't move enough, nerves don't glide and stretch as they normally would. This can cause tingling, numbness, or electric sensations when we try to use them again. Or it could be down to deconditioning. Deconditioning simply means the body has adapted to not being used, or to being used in the same limited ways over and over again. Muscles weaken, circulation reduces, and nerves can become more sensitive. There are also age-related nerve changes. I've become older and I've noticed these more. As we get older, the ends of our nerves can naturally become less robust. This can cause symptoms in your fingers, toes, hands and feet. Peripheral neuropathy is a real medical condition where the ends of the nerves, often in our feet or hands, start misfiring. It can cause burning, tingling or numbness or electric pain, and it can happen alongside fibromyalgia. So this is not about saying it's all fibromyalgia or it's nothing to worry about. It's about understanding that more than one thing can be going on at the same time. I learned this very clearly when I went through a period of depression. For several months I barely moved. I stayed on the sofa or in bed most of the day. I was exhausted, low, unmotivated and physically inactive. During that time I developed severe nerve pain down one side of my body. It started gradually in my toes with a bit of tingling and then got worse over a couple of weeks. When I'd put my foot on the floor in the morning, I'd get electric shocks shooting through my toes and up my calf, and it would make me hop and jump. I couldn't weight bear properly, and it was painful, disturbing, and very different from my usual fibromyalgia pain. And I was really concerned that I might have had a stroke or something, because it seemed to come on so suddenly. That kind of symptom is not something to ignore. I did go to my doctor. I was checked and referred to a neurologist, and later he confirmed that I hadn't had a stroke, but that it was neuropathy, very likely linked to prolonged immobility. And this is where I want to be very clear. This isn't about blame. Fibromyalgia itself can make us lie down more, sit for long periods, or stay very still because movement hurts. At the same time, when we do feel better, we can easily overdo things because we don't get that many good days. So reduced movement and overdoing it can both happen with fibromyalgia, and that's understandable. I'll be honest about myself here. Since developing fibromyalgia, my activity has reduced and my weight has gradually increased, and I'm much more affected by doing one thing for too long. That's not a personal failure. It's a reality of living with this condition. Even on my worst days now, I won't stay completely still. I might go to bed early, but during the day I'll move between rooms, go to the bathroom, wash up, sit at the table rather than staying in bed. My husband sometimes offers to bring food to me and I'll say no, not because I feel strong or I'm pushing through, but because I know that staying still all day makes me weaker afterwards. This is something I think we learn after having fibro for decades. And this isn't just about pushing through the pain, it's about keeping a baseline level of movement so my body doesn't decondition further. And this brings us to one of the biggest practical points. One of the biggest triggers for nerve type pain is doing one thing for too long. Sitting too long, especially on a sofa where our posture may not be great. Standing for too long, walking for too long. I learned this the hard way when I first got my standing desk, which I got specifically for this issue to stop me sitting for too long. But the first time I used it as a standing desk, I stood for far too long. My legs paid for it for days afterwards. So what helps most is regular shifting, changing position, moving gently and often, and watching your posture, not forcing, just varying. Now this is also where an important safety point comes in. If you ever experience nerve type pain that is new and unfamiliar, strongly one-sided, worsening, or not easing at all with movement, it's important to see a doctor and ask to be checked. I was told by the neurologist eventually that I should have been checked immediately to ensure that I hadn't had a minor stroke, rather than waiting a year for an appointment with him. However, once he did a brain MRI, it confirmed that all was okay. So it's important to understand that having fibromyalgia does not make us immune to other conditions. We still age, we still have risk factors, we still deserve proper checks. And I know that's not easy sometimes when we have fibromyalgia because we put almost everything down to the fibro. But when things are worsening, it's important to go and see your doctor and not to worry about it because that's what they're there for. So we still deserve proper checks, and equally if your tests come back clear and the pain improves with gentle movement and posture changes, that information is useful too. You now know that that sort of thing might happen to you with your fibro. So here's what I want you to take from this. Nerve type pain in fibromyalgia isn't always the same thing. It can be our nervous system being more sensitive, as I talked about in detail in the last video. But sometimes it's about movement and deconditioning. Sometimes it's about age or our peripheral nerves at the ends of our nerves in our fingers and toes. And sometimes it's something that needs checking. Learning the difference helps you respond calmly instead of panicking and without ignoring symptoms either. Nerve pain can be unsettling, but understanding what kind of signal you're dealing with gives you confidence, not fear. If you haven't seen the last episode, I'll link it here, and in the next video, which I'll link here when it's ready, we'll look at why fibromyalgia pain moves around the body. So until next time, take good care of yourself and be well.